You're listening to Power Talks. Good morning. This is Beth Ann, and this is Power Talks in the morning with Melody and Beth Ann. And Melody is missing today. I gave her Friday off. You know, we kind of got away with that last week, and we did Open Mic Friday. And I wanted to share that with you again today. I have some things I want to talk about, but I had some things I wanted to ask you. You know, we're dealing with some pretty crazy stuff right now since Sunday's, it'll soon be a week, since Sunday's evening massacre in Las Vegas. And we have, finally, they're telling the truth. They don't just want gun control. Well, they want control, but they want a repeal of the Second Amendment. Now, how absurd do you think that is? So I've got several questions for you today, and let's start out with that one. Well, let's start out with, do you believe we need more gun control? 717-300-1218. It is Open Mic Day. I want to hear what you have to say. That's 717-300-1218. 717-300-1218. I want to remind you of the Beware of the Useful Idiots paper that I received. This was during the campaign. And it is the 8 steps to a complete and socialistic state. It's written by Sal Alinsky. He was honored by Hillary Clinton in her thesis and in a book that President Barack Obama wrote. Sal Alinsky. He died 43 years ago, but his writings influenced those in the political control of our nation today. Now, do not be deceived, America, because the Republicans and the Democrats are both trying to get rid of your president. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. But in Sal Alinsky's 8 steps, if you do these are, they call them 8 rules. You can see them playing out in our nation today. And I know that I mention these periodically, but I want you to remember, because it is important. We the people are the republic. We are the government. And we have been so, what do they call it, conditioned to believe that those D.C. occupiers are occupying over us, that we elected them to dictate over us. No. We elected them to represent us. Are they representing you? 8 steps. The first one, oh yes, the first one is health care. Control health care, and you control the people. So they're telling us about affordable health care, and it's really not health care, it's insurance. It is forced insurance. It will be another tax. Number 2 is poverty. Do you remember when President Lyndon Johnson started the war on poverty? Oh, we're so much better off now. Poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Poor people are easier to control and will not fight back if you are providing everything for them to live. Now think about the inner cities in our nation and how they are controlled. Think about those across this nation. We have them here in the flyover states that are generations on welfare. All races. Think about how they live. Debt. Number 3 is debt. Increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way, you're able to increase taxes, and this will produce, guess what? More poverty. More poverty. Gun control is number 4. Gun control. Remove the ability to defend themselves from the government. That way, you are able to create a police state. Now, I want to talk about that just a little bit. Because you hear the left, particularly Hillary Clinton, you hear the left talking about, it's not about the government. It's, it's hunting, it's protection, personal protection. It's not about that. Yet in her thesis, Sal Alinsky's 8 steps, it says right there, they will not be able to defend themselves from the government. So, yes, that's exactly what it was for, and they know that's what it was for. They know without a doubt that's what it was for. Number 5 is welfare. Take control of every aspect of their lives, food, housing, and income. You have them poor, you put them on welfare, you make them dependent on a government, you make them dependent on elected officials' decisions for everything. Think about it. Maybe some of you are poor. What would you do if your child was starving? What kind of a decision would you make this way or that way regarding liberty or independence? Government or independence? Number 6 is education. Oh, how we complain about the education department. Take control of what people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in school. Now, you still have a few talk shows like this one, like Power Talks, like CSC Talk Radio, like Melody's Financial Survivor. You still have some of these shows that are out there that are truly, sincerely trying to make sense of nonsense and hang on to liberty. Number 7 is religion. Remove the belief in the God. He says the God. This is Sal Alinsky from the government and schools. Remove the belief in the God from the government and schools. Number 8, and we're seeing this so bad, class warfare. Divide the people into the wealthy and the poor. This will cause more discontent, and it will be easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. Do you hear what the left is saying, many of them in the Democrat Party, talking about the evil rich people, and yet they are worth millions, and some of them more than that? Multimillionaires, some billionaires, talking about the evil rich. Does any of this sound like what's happening in the United States today? Alinsky merely simplified Vladimir Lenin's original schemes for world conquest by communism under Russian rule. Stalin described his converts as useful idiots. Useful idiots. Are the Democrat Party those useful idiots? Who's the leader in all this? It isn't the president. Who is the leader in all this? Why would America ever fall for something like gun control, for socialism, for this politically correct jargon? It's Open Mic Friday. It's Open Mic Day to hear what you say. 717-300-1218. 717-300-1218. We've had a long, hard week, and we're still looking at more as with the evidence unfolds and we see or find out what happened or how many people were involved or if other people were involved. Bottom line is there was a massacre of many Americans Sunday night. And what happened in Las Vegas happened in all America. But for the grace of God, it could have been us. Right? 717-300-1218. 717-300-1218. I have something I'm going to share with you later on in the show about gun control. I have an article in my hand that I think I've got time to share with you. I had, during the election, early into the campaign, well, kind of halfway through the campaign, I would guess. I wasn't necessarily a Trump gal. I was kind of watching and trying to figure out what was going on, and one guy I really, really liked I got pretty mad at. decided he wasn't the one, that he was a phony baloney. But I was watching the entire arena, the stage, as you may call it. I was watching the stage, and everyone on every side hated one man. And I was trying to figure out, why did they hate this one man? What is it he's doing that they hate? So I'm sitting here, well, actually it was late at night, and just like that, it came to me. The D.C. occupiers, which we have talked about many times on CSC Talk Radio, the D.C. occupiers occupying those offices, they have their own little Wall Street behind closed doors, so you don't hear the bells and whistles. But oh, how you feel the effects of the decisions they make. The topics that made that particular candidate popular and elected as President of the United States was trade and immigration. Together, hand in hand, the D.C. occupiers, all of Congress, Republicans and Democrats alike, are cutting deals with D.C. occupiers, are cutting deals, and they are able to get rich when they make their decisions or their legislation in the favor of others, not you, on trade and immigration. So you stop and think about it. They still hate him. They're trying to get rid of him, and I have an article here. We have a caller. I'm going to hold on here. I have an article here about the impeachment of Donald Trump, how they're wanting to get that done. But I'm going to go to Rob in Illinois first. Rob, how are you today?
Oh, just peachy keen here. Hey, didn't one of the senators or congressmen just turn around and say, hey, we got to put the impeachment process on hold for other things? Didn't someone just come out and do that?
Well, they haven't really impeached him yet. I mean, they haven't started it. They just keep talking about it. Is that what you mean?
They call it their plan. You know, I mean, they're literally looking for anything and everything. Somebody came out recently just after Las Vegas and said, oh, we got to put that on hold because of this. Maybe they wanted to. Maybe that's exactly where I was just leading. Maybe.
Well, I'm going to tell you what.
Now we can focus on gun control.
I'm going to tell you what, Rob. My opinion is, if they and I hope I have the American people correct, the forgotten Americans correct. I hope I've got their character correct in my mind and heart. If they impeach President Donald Trump, they had best start collecting the guns prior to that, because I believe they will have a civil war on their hands. And I think that's what they want, actually. Well, what do you think?
I don't believe there's going to be a civil war. I believe it's a war against foreign invaders. We've been occupied, Beth.
Well, I don't dispute that at all. And we'll talk about that. Can you hang on? We're going into a break. Can you hang on just a few minutes? All right.
Yes, please.
Thank you. We're going into a break. It is open mic day. I want to hear what you have to say at 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. You're listening to Power Talks with Beth Ann and Melody Cedarstrom. And Beth Ann is here with you, and we will be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a reestablished Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks. It is Open Mic Day. Open Mic Friday. We want to hear what you have to say. 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. Back to Ron. Ron, you said we have been invaded. Now, are you just talking about the illegals, or are you talking about the socialists that have invaded D.C.? What are you referring to?
Well, we have foreign occupiers. You have one, of course, illegal aliens that are crossing the borders. Who knows who they are, where they are, what they're doing. Second, you have all the synthetic migration where they're literally playing God and placing all these migrants, not even all Muslims, deep Saharan Africans, IQs average of 60, all around the United States, and who knows what they're doing. They're all living on welfare. They're being paid full Medicare for life, the whole deal. These people are, Beth Ann, there's 3,100 mosques in the United States as we speak. There's over 260 Muslim groups in the United States as we speak, Islamic Muslim groups. And they are gathering weapons, they're hiding weapons, they're doing all sorts of things. What happened in Las Vegas is not an isolated deal. It has part to do with Islam, the dark state, and there are other entities involved.
Do you think, and this is just speculative, we're just talking, so do you think that ISIS is telling the truth when they say he was their man?
In a sense, but they got slapped on the hand because ISIS, and I don't know where you stand on this, but ISIS is a proxy of the United States, dark state, and Israel. So they got slapped on the hand because they didn't want them to be taking credit for something that they want to be a covert operation of false flag and creating terror on Americans.
That's slapped on the hand by who?
Well, by the dark state and the Zionists. Because, again, you heard, here's what happened. They announced, hey, we're taking credit for this. And then, soon enough, the mainstream media started saying, no, they said nothing of the sort. You're making things up. You don't know what you're talking about. But even though they posted it on their website.
They've come out 2 or 3 times, so they didn't take heed of the slap, if that's the case. I had wondered about Antifa, if it was that. The left they will do anything to keep power. The globalists, the socialists, and I'm not when I say left, everybody automatically thinks Democrats, but we can see what's going on in D.C. with the obstructing of the president right now. And making sure nothing he promised the American people is going to take place, whether it's build a wall, whether it's repeal Obamacare, whether it's tax reform. We'll see how that goes. They'll pretend to do some kind of tax reform just to throw us a bone, but I don't trust a single one of them up there in D.C.
And should you not? let's be clear. Antifa is just they're just agitators to the agitation group, the publicity.
Exactly.
And they don't have the capability or the structure or the organization to create something like happened in Las Vegas of the sort. They are loved. They are loved by the left. They have the baseball bats, they have the mace, they have access to guns and stuff, and they're doing they think they're playing their part. They are what we always call the brown shirts of days past. So that's who they are. They are the agitators on the ground. They're the boogeyman in our face.
We did have what is his name? I've got the wrong article in my hand. We did have the New York Times op-ed by Brett Stevens. He calls for a complete repeal of the Second Amendment. I don't see him ever getting that done.
Yeah, because
not ever.
Because he's part of the New World Order. Look, again, we're occupied. The only thing that stands between them taking full control of the United States, just like they did in Russia, just like they've done in so many different places, is guns. That's the only thing that stands in the way. It's the Second Amendment protects the other nine. And
that's exactly why that Second Amendment is there.
Right.
That's exactly why it's there. Ron, thank you so much for your call and your input. I appreciate it very much.
All right, thank you.
We have so many abuses of power going on, and I had a list of questions here that I wanted to ask all of you out there in Power Talk land. This is Open Mic Friday. We want to hear what you have to say. This is your opportunity to give us a call, whether maybe you don't even want to talk about what I'm talking about. That's fine. I just had to get us started. 717-300-1218, 717-300-1218. I sat and I watched the news last night. I got home early yesterday because I had to go run some errands in the big city of Jefferson City, the capital of Missouri, and I went and left the office a little early and got home early, and I was kind of out of, I didn't know what time it was, but because I'm usually really, really late. I was still up late, but as I'm watching this, and of course they're going over and over and over the facts that they're throwing out there at us and speculating on the ones that we don't know, the evidence not there, the things that have not been revealed, what they might possibly be. But my questions are, we have so many abuses of power. Do you even know what abuses of power are going on? Do I even know? I mean, we know that there's constant abuse of power. Will more gun control stop crime? I've got some statistics on that, as I'm certain that you do, that does not happen. I'm going to go to the phones. We have Neil from Missouri. Neil, how are you today?
Well, I'm doing all right, but there's a lot of people out there that need help with this information that they're not getting from the NRA. The NRA, okay. I think, is just a government front organization. Their whole message is, send us your money and we'll take care of the problem. Well, that's not the way it works. People are going to have to take individual responsibility by educating themselves on what they need to know about the Second Amendment. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled that the intent of the legislators is the law. Now, if you don't know what the intent of the Second Amendment is, then how are you going to go into court and defend your right to your guns? There's three documents or three books you need to be reading. One is the Federalist Papers.
Right.
Another is the Notes of the Debates in the Continental Congress. And the third is the Anti-Federalist by Patrick Henry. Now, when you read these three, looking for the information where they discuss and argue about the Second Amendment, you will find what the true basis of the Second Amendment is. It's protection from a corrupt government. Now, the only way that can happen is if the people are better armed, or at least as well armed as the people running the country. Because as happens in every government worldwide throughout history, from the beginning of time, criminals will infiltrate your government, take over, and then subjugate and enslave the people. Happens every single time without exception.
That has happened here. I don't doubt that has happened here at all. Tell me what that.
Now, you're not going to take on these criminals in D.C. without equal weaponry.
Neil, slow down for me. Slow down. You talk really, really fast. Slow down, because if you're going to educate everyone that's listening, we have to get it slowed down. So, the Federalist Papers is one. I need to get those on hand. I used to have them and sell them. And what was the second one? Notes of
the notes of the debates in the Continental Congress. These were notes that were taken by Hamilton, Madison, and Jay.
Okay.
And they took notes. You know, they didn't have, court reporters or anything or anybody in there recording anything. These guys were taking down their notes, and then they put this it came out later as a book that someone has published.
Okay, gotcha. And then the second one was the Anti-Federalist.
That's a critical one right there because it gives you the actual debates. They'll tell you who was arguing for and against.
And I'm trying to get this information to the listeners.
Second Amendment.
So we've got to be distinct here, okay, for the 3 books, and then I'm going to look for them. The Anti-Federalist was the third one, correct?
Right. That was written by Patrick Henry.
Gotcha. I love Patrick Henry. Okay, so we will look for those. We will look for all 3 of those. I know where I can get the Federalist Papers. In fact, I still have 1 copy here, and we will try and get those and see if we can't make that available to the listeners, so it'll be easy peasy for them. I appreciate it, Neil. Thank you. I know that you study.
Now, the other thing they need to be reading are Second Amendment issues before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court cases dealing with the Second Amendment.
All right. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it very much. We also have Joe from Arkansas. Joe, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you, Beth?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
What's on your mind?
I wanted to tell you a little story about something I did yesterday to stand up for America, a little thing I did. And that's this. I make a living painting signs, and yesterday I got a call from a very high-class, ritzy restaurant in Bentonville, which is a town about 30 miles up the road from where I am.
I've been through Bentonville.
To paint hours on the door. What?
Mm-hmm. I've been through Bentonville.
Yeah, okay. Nice little town, isn't it? Anyway, home of Walmart. That's what it's really famous for now.
It really
anyway,
is.
I got to the restaurant. And this young lady came to talk to me about what job they wanted me to do there. And so she showed me the copy of what the hours were to be. And then she also showed me this little symbol, which was a handgun with a circle around it and a line through it, which she also, the no guns allowed in here sign, which she also wanted me to paint on the door. And when she showed me that, I said, well, if somebody really wanted to come in here and kill a bunch of people, they're not going to be stopped by this little symbol on the door. And,
no, to encourage them.
and she actually kind of nodded, like she was kind of sympathetic to what I had to say. But but she didn't tell me anything otherwise. So I went and started to do the job, and it started to bother me more and more and more, the idea of painting this symbol on the door, the no guns symbol. And, a bunch of rationalizations went through my mind. If I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, and there's good money in this job. And also, of course, this is a private business, and if in free America, if a private business wants to put a no guns allowed in here symbol on their door, they're free to do it and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, no, this is not really an independent decision by the ownership of this restaurant. This is part of the whole communist orchestration of getting Americans to think it's wrong for them to have guns. And so more and more I felt like, no, if I'll lose this job if I have to. I'm just not going to paint this symbol on the door. So anyway, I went inside and talked to the young lady again, and I told her that I was not going to paint that no guns symbol on the door. I'd do all the rest of the job, the hours, but I wasn't going to paint the no gun symbol on the door. And to my surprise, I thought she would tell me, hey, get out of here. We'll get somebody else to do this job. But to my surprise, she told me to go ahead and just paint the hours on the door, and they would get somebody else to put the no gun symbol on it. So, and then it just kind of came out of me. I just said, just something came up in me. I said, God damn it, we've got to fight this damn communism. And so anyway, that was one little thing that I did yesterday to stand up for America.
The no guns allowed sign is a bullseye. It's a bullseye for somebody who wants to commit a crime or just wants to perpetrate their evil. And it's a bullseye. Nobody in there is going to shoot back. I'm free to come in here and abuse and take advantage of these people.
Yeah, and how is it that these idiots, don't have enough common sense to see that? One other thing I'd like to say, that's you were reading those Saul Alinsky points, and one of them was encourage class warfare. And Karl Marx made a speech in 1848 where he said he was in favor of free trade, because it would increase the gap between the rich and the poor and intensify class warfare.
Well, wow. Send that one to me if you would. You can email that one to me if you would, Joe.
Yeah,
I think you still. Okay, you still have my email address, don't you? You can email me to the CSC Talk Radio address, Beth at csctalkradio.com. I appreciate that.
I'll get that
That's
to you.
Great. That's a great quote. And very pertinent, isn't it? Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
It is.
It was something I was listening to last night, and I think we all know. I'm fairly certain that we may not, you and me as listeners and Beth Ann, we may not agree on everything. But if we stop and think about some things, we can find a lot of common denominators. But as I was listening to them, and they're talking about gun control, and this guy from the New York Times, he wants to repeal it. Repeal the Second Amendment. He's a columnist, Brett Stevens. Where they're sitting there trying to analyze the mind of this madman that did this, regardless of what his agenda was, if he had an agenda other than to kill. He's a madman. Evil. So if we have more gun control, we have more gun control now than we did 50 years ago or 60 years ago. Why do we see more crime these days? What is the difference? There was two of them talking last night, and I can't remember who the second one was. It was on Tucker Carlson. I like Tucker. Sometimes I don't like the guests he gets, but I like Tucker. Well, what is different? Political correct jargon? The removal of God? The infiltration of government into your public school, into your communities? There's no more love of God, the respect of God, the fear of God, or the acknowledgement of God. They're removing God from this nation's heart, ignoring his existence over us, happenstance, evolution over creation, the breaking down of the family and the esteeming of sinful ways. And we wonder why we have lunatics running around, killing, perpetrating all kinds of crime, because we have no God acknowledgement. We don't even acknowledge him. Now maybe you and I do, but as a nation, under God, we're not. We're not. I'm going to go to Dan in Missouri. Dan, how are you today?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing great.
What's on your mind, sir?
Last weekend, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last weekend, I went to a gun show in Kansas City, Missouri.
All right.
It was a Preppers Expo and a gun show. And since we passed this new law in Missouri, first of the year, or it went into effect, you can carry in Missouri now concealed without a permit.
Yes.
A special permit as long as you can legally have a gun. And I've been doing that, and I finally could remember it every time I left the house, or if I'm standing, it's
a new
me.
habit.
And
it's a new habit. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. And I went to this gun show, and they had signs all over the doors: no concealed carry, no loaded firearms. At a gun show, at a Preppers gun show. So I went in to the lobby, and while my wife was buying the tickets, I talked to a Kansas City officer. It said he was Kansas City Police. And I said, how many guys you got here? And he said, 5 or 6. They vary. And I said, so do you have metal detectors? He said, no. I said, are you frisking people? He said, no. I said, so you think somebody intent on doing harm is going to willingly turn around and leave? And he looked at me and he said, what's your point? And I said, so I get at the back of this building that's twice the size of a football field with a couple thousand people in it maybe, and some idiot decides to start harming people, and you guys are going to run from this foyer and stop it before how many people get killed? And I just about turned around and walked out. But instead, I cowered and I put my weapon in the car, hit it really good, and locked up the car and went in. And I was uncomfortable the whole time.
That's interesting.
So,
are all gun shows like that?
No. There was expos down in Springfield and in Lebanon, Missouri, put on by Vince Finelli. And
yes.
I felt fine there. There was a lot of people carrying open.
Who
put on
the one you went to in Kansas City? Who sponsored the one in Kansas City?
Ma'am, I don't know. I'm not from there. I'm from down there in South Central Missouri, and I didn't get the guy's name. But that really ticked me off. I'll never go in again.
Because I've often said that's probably the safest place in the world to be.
I think I'd rather be in jail trying to explain why I carried than be in the ground pushing up daisies, because I didn't.
Well.
But I found something out very, very interesting about the state of Missouri. And I would like people to check on this. Don't just take my word for it. But I was told, you were talking earlier about the sign painter was on your show, and he said they wanted him to paint that circle with a slash through it over a handgun profile.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, evidently, according to a gentleman that I trust pretty well, he said in the state of Missouri, the sign has to be 11 by 7. I think it's 11 by 17. And all of the letters on the sign telling you have to be 1 inch. They can't be any larger. They can't be any smaller. The sign has to be exactly that size. Otherwise, it holds no legal precedence at all. So for all your listeners out there, check into it. All these places that have these do not enter with a weapon signs and all that, if they don't fit that exact criteria, that's just their wishes. There is no legal standing with those signs. You haven't violated any law if you go in with a concealed carry.
Okay.
So I thought that was really interesting.
It is interesting. Probably just so that certain sign people can sell. I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate the call, Dan. Thank you very much. You are listening to Power Talks. It is Open Mic Friday to hear what you have to say. That's what we want to do. 717-300-1218. I want to remind you that Power Talks, even when she's not here, is sponsored by Discount Gold and Silver Trading. Discount Gold and Silver Trading, you can visit their website. Melody has a website at dgscoins.com. That's dgscoins.com. You can give her a call in the office at 1-800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. I'm getting pretty proud of myself at remembering these phone numbers I've been trying to give to you. I've got a different number on my show to call in, and it's just I'm amazed at my age that I can still remember phone numbers. The number for you to call me right here, right now, with Open Mic Friday to hear what you have to say is 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. Draining the swamp. We talk about gun control. We know that those who want more gun control are actually after control. We know that they want to disarm the American citizens. And there's only one reason that any government or elected officials would want to disarm those who elect them. And it's not for safety. It's for their safety. It's not for your safety. So I will try and get those books, try and look those up. My revenue is pretty low on CSC, but I'm going to try and get those and see if I can't make, I'll talk to Melody about them, see if we can't make those available to you. And you can do the same thing, but if we can get them and put them in a package, all three, I think that would be a great thing to do. So we will see what we can do about that. I will mention it to Melody. Draining the swamp, I want to get back on that just a little bit. We know that the corruption runs very deep. You must know that in your hearts, you have to know this. The hate for that president that you elected is truly a hate for the American people. You know what they think of you. They call you deplorables. The left has no love in their hearts. I am convinced of that. They have no love of this nation as it was established as a constitutional republic. They have absolutely no love for it, no respect for it. So they're going to do everything they can to slowly break it down. Draining the swamp can only be done one way, and that's through the American people. That one man taking all the hits in the White House, don't let them continue to beat him up. You need to start beating them up. Get on the phones. 202-224-3121. I want to talk about that when we come back, unless you interrupt me at 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. It will not be an interruption because it is Open Mic Friday, and I want to hear what you have to say. 717-300-1218. You're listening to Power Talks with Beth Ann. Melody has taken the day off, and we will be right back.
The Civil War did not end slavery, but it did put over 8 million black and white Southerners into the bondage of poverty.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, 1-800-375-4188. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on Internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the Internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
Welcome back. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. Melody I said she took a day off. I think she's actually working. She took a day off from here, an hour off from here to get a little bit more work done. And I told her, I got it covered. I can do this. I do back-to-back shows when I do this, and it's a lot of fun because if you tune in to CSC Talk Radio right after this, and you can either change the dial there if you're listening on shortwave. Well, I guess you have to be. Well, you could be listening on the internet. But if you're listening on shortwave, it's 12 1. I can't even say it. 60, and 12.60. Is that what it is? I can't even think of my frequency. Or you can go to csctalkradio.com and listen live there. It begins at 10:06, so I go straight from this show into that show. And on Fridays, we always have Free for All Friday. So here we have Open Mic Day, and I want to hear what you have to say. And on CSC, we have Free for All Friday. So if you didn't get a chance to call in here, you can call in there. I want to remind you as well that Power Talks is sponsored solely by Discount Gold and Silver Trading. We've been here a couple of months now, and we're trying to feel it out. If you like this show, you let us know. And you can go to powertalks@yahoo.com, send Melody a note, and let her know you appreciate this show. We're growing and we're learning yet how to work together, Melody and I. We've never met. We kind of click, and we found something else out about ourselves yesterday, and we think, oh, my gosh, we are so much alike, it's dangerous. But we don't always agree on everything. We don't always, but it's not an ugly disagreement. It's a I want to learn more type of thing. You know, that's what we have to do here in the United States of America is learn more. And but Power Talks is solely sponsored by Discount Gold and Silver Trading. Please give her a call at 1-800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. This show, CSC Talk Radio, Financial Survivor, one purpose, to educate you, to help you, to give you a voice, to give the forgotten Americans a voice. How important is that to you? How important is that to you? Draining the swamp isn't up to the man in the White House. It's up to you. Recently, Judge Roy Moore was elected. They spent a lot of money in the GOP to elect the other guy. And now they're balking at giving the money to Judge Roy Moore, his campaign, to run against the Democrat for the actual Senate seat. How badly do you think the Republicans care whether they have a majority or not? Draining the swamp is up to you. We have got to start electing men and women of integrity and faith. Faith in God. The God, as Sal Alinsky would say. Talk about evil. He acknowledges there is the God and does everything he can to fight against him. How evil is that? How evil is the Democrat Party or the leftists, the Hollywood leftists, and all these that are screaming and hollering hate? They won't have you ever heard anything out of their mouths to unite this nation. They point at the president as being a divider. They hold up severed heads. They point at the president as being a divider, and they obstruct everything he tries to do. They won't even talk about it. They can't wait to get him impeached, and when they say impeach, they want him out. You know, we impeached Bill Clinton, but we were still stuck with him because they didn't arrest him. Draining the swamp is up to the American people, the voters. As far as California is concerned and Jerry Brown, their governor, let me tell you about his hypocrisy. After the Vietnam War, there were people there that needed refuge. They were being literally slaughtered. Governor Jerry Brown didn't want them here. He was adamantly against bringing the Vietnam refugees to the United States. And now he's declared his state a sanctuary state. Hypocrisy above all else is what he's about. I have nothing good to say about that man. And California, why is he your governor? If they are a sanctuary state, they should absolutely in no way get anything else, any more taxpayer dollars from the federal government, which is from you. Yeah, Missouri sends it to him, Illinois sends it to him, Arkansas sends it to him. It's all in one pool. No more. No more. Draining the swamp is up to you. Write this number down, please. Light up the phone lines. Don't tell me, Beth, that won't do any good, because it will. You tell them We're going to get rid of you, just like we did when we elected President Donald Trump, just like we did when Roy Moore was elected over your guy. We're going to get rid of you. And if you're a registered Democrat, you let them know we are not socialists, and we're done with you. Here's the number for the D.C. switchboard: 202-224-3121. Let me say it again: 202-224-3121. Their switchboards light up, and you tell them, don't you dare touch another compromise with the Second Amendment. Not one. I have an article. There's no way I have time to share this with you, but I'm going to give you the title, and you can do a web search on it. I will find it, and I will post it on my Facebook page, which is CSC Talk Radio. We don't have one yet for Power Talks. CSC Talk Radio. Don't go to the group page. Go to the main page. It has my face there, my smiley face. This is the title of it. I used to think gun control was the answer. My research told me otherwise. That's the title. I used to think gun control was the answer. My research told me otherwise. And the author of this is Leah, I'm going to spell her last name, Labrisco. L-I-B-R-E-S as in Sam, C as in Charlie, O. L-I-B as in boy, R-E-S as in Sam, C as in Charlie, O. And I will post it, I promise. And I may just go ahead and even put that on the blog of CSC Talk Radio so you can see that. Visit csctalkradio.com and you'll know what we're about there and why Melody invited me here to be with her. Support Melody. She is doing all that she can with her business to educate Americans, the forgotten Americans, and to give you an opportunity to have a voice. That's why she's doing all these radio shows and wearing herself out. Her number in the office is 800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. I didn't say that to give her sympathy. I said that so you'd know the integrity of Melody. So here we are, facing all these things, and again, gun control and the Second Amendment is on the table. Is it just a matter of time before they take it away? I'm going to talk to Melody, and we're going to try and find those books. I know where I can get the Federalist Papers. We're going to find them, and we're going to offer them in a package, a trio. I'm going to talk her into that. You've been listening to Power Talks. Thank you for all that you've added today. You have a wonderful weekend. Listen to this song as we play off the air. It talks about being free. I picked it out just for that, because we want to be free. Power Talks. There is freedom in truth. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.